What's going on, everybody? This is Pavel Smart here, and welcome to my 2022 Universal Studios trip. This was a trip that my best buddy Brian and I from Three Topics Gamer, we went out and planned this a few months ago. We decided it'd be fun to do this Universal trip to get ready in preparation for when the Super Nintendo Land opens. It was a lot of fun, and let's just get straight into it. Day one, as we were arriving, we woke up at 7 a.m., drove straight to LA, and got there. And it has been, I want to say, at least 20 years since I've been to Universal, and it was fantastic. Just the sights and everything. It's been like brought back so many good memories. Now, as you see right here, we're walking straight down New York, the New York streets. This is basically where you can get like foods and just little knickknacks. This is where they have the Universal Studios place on the left over here, and then they have some actors up there, which is really awesome. They interact with everybody. Now, the first area we came across was Springfield, and they recreated a lot of great places, such as Lard Lad's Donut, which I did end up getting one of the big donuts. Pictures will be on my Twitter at the same time of posting this video, so that way you guys can see what everything was like. They also recreated Moe's Tavern and everything like that. The first ride we actually went on, because I have a list of all the rides right here, was the Simpsons ride, and that was a simulator-esque movie ride, where the place actually, like, the platform that you get on actually sort of rises up through like a little hole in a ceiling, and you basically like gyrate back, forth, around, and tilt, and it was really like immersive. So it was definitely one of the things that I actually really enjoyed the most. Just going on the first ride of the day, it was a lot better. Now, something Brian actually pointed out was that this was the old Back to the Future ride, and that was something that wasn't there the first time I went there. At least if it was, I don't remember it because my memory is shot. But it was such a fun, we actually had a good time, got through the line fairly quickly, and this was a lot of this interior stuff because we couldn't really film on the ride, even though it was like a stationary ride. They didn't allow any bags or anything on there, so we just got some stuff. We then went down to the lower lot. After getting on that ride, we went straight down, and this is where we actually caught our first glimpse at where they were building the Super Mario Land. And this, boys, can I tell you, I am not super excited for this. I love Mario, I love Nintendo, all things Nintendo. Love Pokemon, love Zelda, love Mario. You guys see it all the time on this channel. And I can't wait to go back with Brian and a bunch of my other friends, and we're going to explore the shit out of this area. So stay tuned for that video. So the second ride we actually hit was the Mummy. So this is going to be a few pictures here and there of the Mummy's ride that we actually went on. You see the Book of the Damned here. You see one of the sarcophagus, the area that we were all getting in. And that ride was super fun. After that, we actually went and got one of the hot dogs there. After corn dogs, we then went straight for the Transformers ride. Now, this was another simulator ride, but this one was different from The Simpsons, where they actually had you on like a little conveyor belt that like kind of took you like on a tram to different spots as you were helping deliver the Allspark. So as you can see, after we got off the ride, we saw Megatron. He was there greeting and antagonizing the guests that were there, and it was absolutely hilarious. I loved it. It was so much fun just to see something that massive, and someone that loves robotics and all things engineering like that. It was a massive, like, absolutely great scene. We then went and saw the Waterworld. Was it Waterworld? Yeah, Waterworld show. and we didn't get the best seats. As you can see, like we're like off to the right hand side, and you see a lot of good action in the seats that we did get. And boy howdy, when there was fire, we felt that. We were close enough to feel the fire, but not close enough to get wet when they were spraying just like that. Spraying all the guests and everything, having a good time. If you are to go see this, I would definitely recommend going to sit somewhere in the center. Now, one thing that me and Brian both learned for next time when we go is to get the fast pass. You'll get on rides a lot faster. You don't have to worry about it. We were able to see every ride at least once during the entire trip. Now you can see that we were on the Despicable Me ride, and it was another simulator ride. Wasn't that great after seeing The Simpsons and everything, and that's realistically where we left day one, right after the Despicable Me ride. We also did Kung Fu Panda that day. Wasn't that memorable. I think that was our lowest rated ride. This was our view from our hotel room. Now, this was absolutely nuts. This hotel was like 30 minutes from Universal, so we drove back and forth each day, and the view was just absolutely gorgeous. Now, going into day two, we wanted strictly just all Harry Potter, so we went straight to Hogsmeade, and this was absolutely wonderful. I loved spending time in Hogwarts. It was a dream come true. As you can see, I'm a Ravenclaw. So is Brian. My favorite book is Goblet of Fire, so I had to get the Triwizard Cup. I have the Triwizard Cup back there from before, but I wanted to get the new one that they had at Universal. Unfortunately, I couldn't. But you see the Hogwarts Express right there, platform 9 3/4, Hogsmeade, straight there. We were actually doing a few pictures inside the that little office to the left, which was great. Unfortunately, it was closed at this time, but we were able to get some photos later on in the day. So the first spot we did was we went to Ollivanders and we got our wands. So this is the interactive wand I ended up getting. It is Luna's. Because she is my absolute favorite character, so I got her interactive wand, which I absolutely enjoyed. And with the interactive wands, they give you this little map that shows you where in Hogsmeade you can cast certain spells, and they activate certain things, like you can open up locks, you can raise and lower stuff. It was really, really nice for that interactivity. You'll see Brian do a few spells later on in the video. I believe they got me doing one, but I don't remember if it's in the if I made it into the video. Right here you see there was Honeydukes, there was what was it, Dars and Brashes? I probably mixed up those names, but the first thing I did once we got in there was I got me some butterbeer. Now, we found out very quickly that our cameras, both my camera and his phone, does not pick well in low light. This was the wand ceremony. Now, that was something I highly, highly recommend doing because it was just an experience. Now, I knew going into that me and Brian weren't going to get picked. They usually like to pick people that were younger for them to actually gain that full experience. But this is still inside Ollivander's wand shop. Like, you'll see all of this amazing stuff, and that's where you'll be able to pick out your own wand or pick out any character's wands. Now, right outside Ollivander's, they have this show going on with the other two Hogwarts schools. And I'm not going to show you the whole thing. I'm just going to show you little snippets here and there. But they do highlight both schools. And afterwards, you can go up and take pictures of both the schools with everybody. And it was wonderful. Now, right after Hogsmeade, we decided to go straight into Hogwarts and do our first ride of the day, which was the Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. Now, it was such a long, long wait on this ride. And when I say long wait, I mean this thing took us nearly 2 hours to get through the line, which is why the Fast Pass is going to be so important for us next time, because this was our 10 out of 10 will write again. We tried. We wanted to do it one more time, but later on in the evening they have the Harry Potter Lights show, and we just didn't know what time that was going to start. We heard rumors of 7:30. We had rumors of 8. We had rumors of 8:30. And so we went and stood there by the Hogwarts Castle waiting for the light show since 7:30, and the line was only 20 minutes. So we were like, we don't want to miss it, because if we get in line and we're on the line while the ride's going, we're screwed. So we ended up missing out on riding this a second time, which me and him both regret so much. The interior was chef's freaking kiss, guys. It was, you see the Mirror of Erised there. They had the Hogwarts cups. They had the freaking right here, the line goes through one of the Herbivore gardens, and you also see the Grand Hall. This is where the ride starts. Afterwards, I ended up breaking off from Brian, and I went to the Three Broomsticks to get some lunch because I was starving, and the Three Broomsticks did not disappoint. I ended up getting this delicious freaking smoked turkey leg and a pear cider beer, and that was phenomenal. The turkey leg was nice and juicy. The pear cider was so refreshing. It was delicious. Highly recommend that if you ever go to the Three Broomsticks there. Then we ended up just walking back, buying a few more souvenirs, and that's where I actually ended up spending a good chunk of money. Now, I love Ravenclaw. That is my house. I will ride and die Ravenclaw all day long. So I ended up getting a pair of socks that are just Ravenclaw. Really nice and handy. I did end up getting a Ravenclaw scarf for the winter when it comes to winter, because I do want to go back during the winter. Like, I want to experience it. And of course, I couldn't leave without getting a new hat. I love my hats. If you ever see me outdoors, I'm 99% chance I am wearing a hat. So I have this for next time when I go, and my prize possession that I now own is from the fourth movie itself, the golden egg. Now, unfortunately, this golden egg does not open, but it is still awesome nevertheless. Like, it has some really nice detail work in there. I don't know if the camera's going to be able to pick that up with the reflection of everything, but this is probably one of my favorite things I've bought in a while. I went a little over budget for this, but it was worth. As you can see now, though, we're heading back towards Hogwarts. I think at this time we were heading, let me see, where the heck were we heading? I think this is where we were going back down to do the studio tour. It was either the studio tour or the Ride of the Hippogriff. I think this was going towards the Ride of the Hippogriff, though. It was the first actual roller coaster that they have there, because they mainly have simulation rides. Oh yeah, there's Dervish and Banges. But yeah, so we went to the Ride of the Hippogriff, like I was saying, because I get sidetracked. And it was the first actual roller coaster. It was really nice. We were in and out of the line for 35-ish minutes. It didn't take that long. The ride lasted less than a minute. But it was a nice little break from walking around, doing everything. And it was an actual roller coaster, which was super nice. I think, yeah, so this is inside that store where I was looking to try and get custom shirts made, but the shirts, they didn't have them in my size, unfortunately. Big guys, it's kind of harder to find shirts in their size. But it was really cool. And as you can see, there was plenty of areas for shade from walking around in the sun. So, you had the Three Broomsticks, you had the place right outside Darvish, and you had all the stores you can easily go into. So, if you're walking around, I think it was, what, 89 that day? So it was still really hot. So grab a nice ice cold butter beer. I preferred frozen during the day. Actually, here, this was Brian actually performing some spell work on this mirror. And he took him 3rd time's the charm. He was able to get it. It was awesome. We then went back to Springfield to go on the studio tour. Now, while we were here, we actually stopped and got some food over at Cletus's Chicken Shack, which, I'm sorry to Cletus, but he had some of the worst freaking food I have ever had. I will not be going back there. The chicken was so overcooked, it was literally hard as a rock. I got the chicken and waffle sandwich. The waffle was like a brick. Like, I broke it in half, and Brian felt it. It was like a rock. But as you can see, inside Moe's Tavern, though, I definitely wanted to go back there if we had the time, if the time allowed it. But Moe's Tavern was so beautifully decorated on the inside. I was super excited. But like I said, we then went down and we did the studio tour. The studio tour was an hour, and it basically, as you went through, you saw different parts of the back lot. If none of you have been on the studio tour before, it's definitely something I recommend, but it wasn't the best thing that we enjoyed. The studio tour was really, really cool, and I really enjoyed it just because you get to see the history of, like, filmmaking, sort of. I mean, you get to see, like, where pictures are taken, where screens are shot, all that kind of stuff. And they actually show you some of the technical aspects of filming as well. So right here is a little, like, presentation they did where it was like a little water show. They showed you how they made rain, how it's literally just sprinklers, just, you know, in, like, on poles, just spraying down water. And then they showed you how the floods and everything came in, and all their water attractions basically came to life for filming, which was really, really cool to see. I remember this the last time, almost 20 years ago, being there, and so it was still cool then, and it's still cool now. I loved seeing it. You actually get to see a lot of classic cars, like the Flintstones and all that other stuff. You got to see Scooby-Doo's, and a bunch of, like, the iconic cars of Universal's movies. And even some of the old Western sets that you saw were really, really nice. After we did the studio tour, we headed back up, and this is where we actually bought a lot of our stuff. Well, not a lot of our stuff, but, like, a lot of our food. So we ended up going to the candy shop. I'm forgetting why it's escaping me right now. But that's where we ended up getting, you saw it in his video, you're going to see it in mine. We ended up getting some chocolate frogs. Now, I ended up getting the metal container chocolate frog, which I will actually be opening it up right now. So here is the metal container chocolate frog. I don't know if you can hear that, but it is solid metal. Just like a little tin, it just opens up. It's really cool. But it does have the solid milk chocolate frog inside, which is actually kind of sick, I'm not gonna lie. Don't know if you can make out anything on that. I'm probably not gonna take it out just so because I don't want it to melt. But the reason I got the metal one is on the inside you have 5 wizard cards. And I think that's one of the coolest things. So I ended up getting Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Albus Dumbledore, Riona Ravenclaw, and Salazar Slytherin. So it looks like you do get the 4 houses plus the headmaster from those, which is really, really cool. That's actually nice. I want to see if there's other ones that you can collect, because I did get one other one, and it was just dark chocolate, and I ended up getting Bertie Bott, the creator of Bertie Bott's Every Flavor Beans, in that one. So I wonder what other ones that they have that you can collect. I wonder if there's a list, because if there is, man, I'm gonna be spending a lot of money on chocolate frogs just trying to collect them all, because you guys know me and how I'm a collector. But at the end of the night, like I was saying, they have this beautiful, beautiful light show for the four houses, and it's literally the music, the atmosphere. You just get like super, super engaged and choked up. Like, I enjoyed this as a Harry Potter nut and a fanatic. This showing was absolutely gorgeous. Now, it did go on for several minutes, including showing off everything about Hogwarts, the four houses, backstory, and stuff like that. Like, not a lot of backstory, but like what each house means and everything like that. So it was absolutely phenomenal, and this was a perfect way to end the night. So this was just a little bit of it. I didn't want to show off too much of it, except for this part. This was towards the end of it, and it just is the fireworks that it shows off, and it was gorgeous. But that was all for our trip. Like, right after this, we ended up going back to the hotel after picking up all of our stuff at the front Hollywood Studios, and we ended up driving back to the hotel, crashing for the night after watching more Harry Potter, and then we woke up the next day and we drove straight back to Vegas, and it was no issue. Actually, we didn't have a single hiccup along the entire drive back. But overall, it was an amazing trip. Will I do this again? Abso-positively, and I cannot wait to take you guys for the next ride. This time in Super Nintendo Land. So, until then, this has been your Spiteful Spartan. Keep on gaming, and peace.